All right. So, well, Dari, we do thank you. So we're going to keep tabs with you to get a lot more updates. I can see that lots of activity just going on there. So we'll let you maybe move to further in, and then we'll get some updates. Thank you very much indeed for your reporting, our correspondent, Dari Idowu. Well, here in the studios, we've got Mr. Pascal Odigbo, who is a financial consultant. Good morning. Thank you for coming on today.
Good morning.
Yeah, there's this matter that's not clear to a lot of people. Is this this launch of expatriate employment levy that the federal government has come up with, and they say if you got someone at a director level, you pay a certain amount. If you got maybe $15,000, if you got other employees, about $10,000. So people still study this, trying to find out what really informs this. Did they weigh the implication of this and what it means not just for us here, but for Nigerians who are working in other countries if those countries were to employ the reciprocity rule or law, as it was? So what's your understanding of this levy?
Well, we're still trying to study it and understand the science behind it, as in quotes. Because the truth of the matter is that we are aware Nigeria is in dire straits. So, and you know, one of the challenges, concerns I have about this administration is that, you know, to a carpenter, every problem is a hammer. So if somebody is used to gathering taxes and physicals and all that, you always will think that the way to solve a problem is to gain more taxes, And that while there is nothing absolutely wrong with that, okay, but you need to be able to gauge the what I call the secondary thinking behind every policy. In other words, what we're doing now, we may gain something now. What will be the secondary consequence, the unintended consequence? Just as I've mentioned, countries and sovereigns that do business with you will definitely reciprocate. Secondly, it will also influence the various people that want to set up businesses here. One of the things that affects businesses in setting up in locations has always been the fiscal regime. What is it? How much are we going to pay? And are we aware of it? Are they just going to come on? So I still think that the managers of the economy, they must have a reason. And the reason for me now is tactical. You know, there are tactical and strategic focus in reflecting a system like Nigeria that is in dire straits now. And by the way, countries and sovereigns have gone through this path before. This is not the first time a country will go through this kind of challenge. There was a particular time England was in dire straits. They had a very big hole. You know what they did? They went to Canada to get their CBN governor. They are what they call their exchequer. So, and that's my concern. The government of the present government must come out from their shell. That's what is called groupthink. Groupthink is when you becloud your thinking as a result of what you're focused on, especially when, and this is a leadership thing. Most leaders who get to a certain level suffer from groupthink. Groupthink, you create a core team who think they know everything. And by so doing, they create an in-group, which is them, and then an out-group. That out-group, you don't create it, it happens on its own because you've created an in-group. They need to open up some more. They need to bring in people that are not in APC, people that are not from their tribe. They need to stretch their hands and look for people that are professionals. They will resolve this matter. It's not like anybody that is sick. You get to a particular level, you begin to look for the professionals. You begin to look for what they will call the consultants. You begin to look for the specialists. There are people like that. As long as you're still using your core team, you will keep resolving the matter with what you think is a solution. That's what I mean by to a carpenter. The solution to every problem is a nail and a hammer.
Well, you have talked about how you believe that other countries will definitely reciprocate, but we are also in a situation whereby some of these things, some of these regulations that have existed with regards to expatriate quota have been, done in the breach rather than in terms of following what the guideline actually says. And we find out a lot of companies where there is actually local labor for some of the tasks that need to be performed, expatriates in quotes, or foreigners, better put, because that's how we are termed when we go abroad,
yes.
Are the ones who come to do the job for jobs that Nigerians can very well perform. So don't you think our government also has a duty to protect its labor force and to ensure that local capital here that can do the work, is rightfully harnessed.
That was why I told you that there must be a science behind what they're doing, what they have done. There must be a balance, because you are looking for foreign direct investment. And people, I give you an instance, say a motor company that wants to set up in Nigeria, and this, do you know there are taxes for what they call expatriate quota, which originally is there. Of course, you said they are observed in the breach. But the truth of the matter is that the more you bring in physical measures that do not allow, and I think the president made such comments, that do not allow this become an impediment to foreign direct investment. Because some people will determine, corporates I know around the world, that's one of the things. How do we go to Namibia or do we come to Nigeria? Do we go to Ghana or do we come to Lagos, Accra, do we come to Lagos? What determines it is not the color of your skin, it is your fiscal regime. How much am I going to pay here if I make this amount of money? So they are looking at what they're going to get at. So you need to discuss the negotiations, the conversations around setting up businesses. If, for instance, you want to allow the Chinese, for instance, when they are here, they decide and tell you that if we're going to give you this kind of loan, want to bring in a certain level of people, you will have to gauge and say, okay, listen, if we're going to get a rail track, say in another 20 years, then we might do with them bringing in people, and then after that 20 years, they might go, and then we'll have an infrastructure that assists us. So there must be people who negotiate at the level, at that top level. What is it that is the benefit to our country, to our nation, and what it is that is benefit to the company that is coming to set up? Because they are not interested in the color of your skin. They're interested in what gets into their own pocket. So you need to have very strong and strategic negotiators who are able to bring in, because you need to open your doors at this time.
Have we had any reaction from the private sector so far about this particular policy of government?
Yeah, I think they're still studying it. This happened about 2 days ago, yesterday or 2 days ago, and people are still studying the dimensions of it. What I think is that what I tend to do, just as you mentioned, is to see how much of our people can be, sucked into places that foreigners were using, we are working before, and they'll do some kind of backward integration. Now, that is good. My only take here is that you need to allow companies and corporates come into this system. You need to allow the Nikes, you need to allow the automobiles, which I've always been saying. The SMEs are good. They are only hiring 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 people. You need companies that hire 1,000, 2,000 people, and you need to encourage them to set up factories. You need to allow them to set up in various locations. That's what you need now. You need to go to Rwanda. There's something there. They open up the place, and they have a reason behind it. They're even asking England to bring in people who are immigrants, come and set up there, because they need the personnel to grow their system. So it depends on what we want, as a people. I know that Nigeria is going through dire straits, but I'm still saying that the managers of our economy must move away from the tactical and get into the strategic, which is rejig what you thought you had on your table before. Because this can be sorted. It can really be sorted.
I was taking a look at it to see further breakdown. So it's a matter we'll definitely keep looking at in the days ahead, because at some point you understand that the levy is mostly on offshore earnings of expatriates working in various industries, including construction, information and communication technology, that's ICT, agriculture, manufacturing, oil and gas, telecoms, banking and finance, shipping, and healthcare. So it's such that employers are required to pay $15,000 for directors and $10,000 for other categories of expatriates annually, or foreign workers in the country, put simply. So it's a matter that we'll keep taking a look at and try and get the authorities in and get an understanding of this perhaps a little more. But we have to thank you for coming on, Mr. Pascal Odibo.